Arrays, part 3, the 2D array. Basically, a 2D array is an array inside an array. Let me show you. You start by writing the data type and the rectangular brackets, and then you put another rectangular brackets. Now it's an array with 2 dimensions. Let's call it A, and let's use the curly brackets to initiate it, to give it some custom value. In this case, it will be, as I said, arrays inside arrays, so we'll have to put another curly brackets to represent the inner array, and put a comma after it, separating it as each array is an item. In the same manner, you can put, let's say, a few numbers inside an array as items. With a 2D array, you can put singular arrays as items inside the containing array. So let's give it some content 1 1 2 2 3 3, and let's copy it 3 times and change the values. Just random values. So what we have here is the containing array, and inside of it we have 3 more arrays. Each one is an item. So let's say we want to access the first element, 11. How do we do that? Let me show you. Write s.o, and then we will output A and put the first square brackets and put the index of 0. This means we are targeting this item element inside the array, and now we want to target this. So this is now a singular array because we are calling this array. So to call the item, we will call it we will treat this as its own array and write 0. So at position 0 in the big array, we call the position 0. So let me explain it again. In array A, we call the first position, and from the first position we call again the first position, which is simply A0 0. So we basically have 2 indexes. Let's run it and see what it does. You will see 11. Let's say we want to access this number. No, let's say we want to access this one now. So what we will do is we will change the first one to 1, because if you remember, an array starts to count from 0, so this position is the position 0 and this position is the position 1. So we want to get the first element from the second array. So we will call the second array using 1. Well, in our terms, in human terms, it's actually 2, but in computer terms, because we count from 0, it's 1. And now we will access the first element using 0, and you will see it will print 42. And now let's access the 53, so we'll change this to 1. And now try to guess how we will access 44. No, let's say 64. So it will be 0, then this item is 1, and this item is 2. So we will change this to 2. And now we want to access this site, so this one is the position of 0, the index of 0, this one is 1, and this one is 2, so 2, 2. $64. Okay, I want also to show you how to create a 2D array without initializing values. You might even run into this one more, I don't know. So let's call it B, and we will write new, the keyword new, int, and it returns an arrow because we haven't defined the array size, so it's 3 on 3. You see 3 items in the, the parent array, and 3 items inside each child array, so it's 3 on 3. And now I will show you how to loop all of this using the for each. First, let's separate this with a line. And the way we will loop A, all of its items, is with a for, simply by passing each item as an int array of AR inside A. So basically, if you remember how to use a for each, you need to first give it the variable, or in this case an array, that will hold each item in the array while it loops. Each item in itself is an array, so we will put an int array here, because this is an int array. So for each item in A list, put them as an int array. So each time the loop will run, it will put one of these arrays here from start to finish, from this to this. But we want to actually output each individual element in the array, so we will have to make another for loop, a for loop inside the for loop. And this time we will have an int and call it x, the name doesn't matter, and we will loop AR. So for each int x inside the array AR, which we get from the parent loop, from this one represents each item in the array, one after the other, each time the loop runs. And this one loops the inner array, meaning first time the first loop will catch this item and put it inside AR, and then AR will be passed to the second loop argument, and then it will loop each item of the first item. And we'll put it inside x. Let's say the first time it will be 11, then 22, then 23. And then the loop will finish, and the first loop haven't finished running yet. So it will go to the second item in the array, which is another array, and then also loop it. Let's output everything. X. That's it. Now you will see how it outputs all the elements in the array. As you can see, 11, 22, 33, 42, etc, etc. As you can see, 11, 22, to 61 until 64. You see, this is the last item in the array, 99, 44, 64. It looped all of the 2D array, and that's how you loop a 2D array. We will also put an and for each loop. So in case we have a longer code, we want to know what this ends and what this ends. That's just a comment for us. So basically that's it. I wouldn't show you a practical example as of now because I just want you to see the syntax. But you will run into this in this course and in your projects a lot. Maybe as something from a database or something else. And that's basically it for this lesson. If you have any questions, you can use the Q&A. But basically it's as it is. There's nothing too fancy here. That's it.